I've been falling all my life, and people wonder why I'm down to earth.
This is Adversity University. If you waiting for somebody to feel sorry for you, then you failed already. Success is best of those who've been grounded first. Cause ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you. Now what are you willing to do? The only thing that separates a winner from a loser is perseverance. And this is Adversity University. Welcome back. Welcome back to Adversity University Growth Talk. It's your boy Cody Martin, and I'm here again with my friend and colleague, Miss Kim Peak, as we go over the art of growing through anxiety. Right. Again, I am your number one motivator, and Miss Kim Peak is your number one mental health advocate, and we're here to give y'all information and insight on just growing through anxiety, right? Just to kind of identify symptoms, just identify how to just move in the real world with these real issues, right? None of us are perfect, so we don't try to act like we are. We're just human beings trying to do this thing called life together. So together, everyone achieves more, which is team, right? Teamwork make the dream work. And it takes the community, it takes the village to be that team to ultimately get the results that we want out of life, right? So, Miss Kim, how are you doing today?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing good, Cody. No complaints.
Good.
Complaints. We're smooth today.
I'm glad you don't have any complaints, because if you did, I was going to have a problem with it, right? Because we don't complain, right? We don't focus on the problem. We focus on the solution. So that's what we're about. That's what we're doing. You see, we got our fatigue on today, so we come.
Let's go to war. Let's go to war with this mind, right?
It's a war, right? It's a war. So, the past few episodes, again, we're constantly getting great feedback. We're constantly getting people wanting more information, which is it's a huge plus. And I'll say this: I recently, I shot an episode of Ask Cody this weekend, and I was doing a lot of street interviews and speaking with just random people. I'm asking them how they feel about mental health. I'm asking them, just different questions and insight. And the beauty of it was, there were some people who were going through therapy who felt great about mental health. There were some people who was not, right? Mm-hmm. Ultimately, a lot of things that helped them push forward was a lot of things that we speak about, such as journaling, right? That came up a lot, right? They spoke about goal setting. That came up a lot. Time management came up a lot. And then you start seeing these commonalities amongst a diverse group of, people, right? As far as the things that help them stay sane mentally and emotionally, right? Again, I'm going to repeat those things because I need people to really hear that, right? Goal setting, right? Time management, journaling. Those were the three common responses that was coming from these individuals from all different types of walks of life, young, older, male, female, black, white, Mexican, a whole lot, right? So it was extremely rewarding to not only get good insight from people, just random strangers, but also to be able to plant seeds and give them information that they can walk away with. And I started to realize, and they started to realize after they, agreed to, get on camera with me, right? While I got a mic in their face. Each person, after each interview, each person thanked me, and they said how rewarding it was just to simply have that conversation. And you start to realize how important just talking is, right? And how many people we encounter on a day-to-day basis that don't speak our language, right? Don't speak about the things that we want to hear. They don't talk about the things that we actually want to talk about. Sometimes we lower our standards and we lower ourselves to those conversations that we don't normally want to have, right? We lower ourselves to be in those environments that we don't normally want to be in, right? We do everything for everybody else and not ourselves, right? Which is a good segue to speak on anxiety, because all of what I just mentioned, doing everything for everybody, engaging in conversation, engaging in environments for everybody, not really for yourself, that increases high levels of anxiety, right? So I definitely want to start talking about that here because we have to understand and recognize. We got it in recognizing things that makes us more aware. Now I'm gonna say something now. In being more aware is not the most comfortable way to be all the time because you notice all your shortcomings, right? You notice everybody else's shortcomings, right? And that can be good or bad, right? But we want to operate on the side of good because if we are aware enough to understand our shortcomings, we are aware enough to understand everybody else's shortcomings. You know, everybody don't want unsolicited advice. However, you know how to move around that person if you can identify it. So if you're self-aware enough, you can, you know what I'm saying, be aware enough to see other people's faults. So you don't have to go that way if you don't want to, right? You don't have to engage with that person if you don't want to. You don't have to deal with that person if you don't want to, but it takes you becoming self-aware so that you can be socially aware. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about, let's get into the meat of just anxiety, right? So today we're talking about, again, it's the art of growing through anxiety, right? Mm-hmm. So staying in that lane, we're going to talk about mindfulness and self-care, right? Like these are important aspects of growing through anxiety, right? Mm-hmm. Mindfulness and self-care, which obviously they go together, but we're going to talk about a little bit because, you know, everybody can just say things like mindfulness and self-care, but nobody give you the meat behind it to tell you like what these things mean or how to access or how to get them done, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the purpose of Adversity University, which is a life skill education platform. Like we're going to educate you, we're going to inform you so that you can do your own due diligence, right? And you can take the necessary steps that you need to take in your life just to do better and be better every day. So off top, when I think of mindfulness and self-care, I ask myself this one question. Am I taking care of myself? That's the first thing, right? Because I have these conversations all the time, like who helps the helper, right? We are oftentimes helping everybody around us, our clients, right? Our friends, families, our loved ones, our kids. We helping everybody else, but who helps us, right? We kind of find short in that. So, well, other people kind of fall short in that, right? Because they ain't helping us, right? But we signed up for it, right? This is the lane that we're in. We are the heroes in this lane for a reason. So all the time, the person with the cape on is not getting help, right? Which can kind of put us into negative spaces a lot of times, can get us anxious, right? Can get us in these feelings and emotions where we feel a certain way, but then we got to put that cape back on and go out and save another day. So in self-care, and I'm speaking to a lot of parents, mothers specifically, because I know all of what y'all got to go through. I understand how hard it is, right? But I'm also speaking to men because I'm one, and I understand how hard it is just to be us, waking up every single day, right? So I have a level of compassion as it relates to the male species and the female species because I completely understand, right? And I'm tired of hearing such divisive conversation that's all over social media. I'm sick of it, right? Because it's never one way to do one thing, right? The way one person feel, it ain't necessarily the way another person feel. What one person is going through, it ain't necessarily what another person is going through. However, we all have similarities, right? We all go through similar things, and it's nothing new under the sun. However, how it's done can be different. So that means the solution to it ain't always the same, and it ain't really that easy. So I go back to the question of asking myself, do I take care of myself? And I'm going to be honest. I got to be honest with myself. I got to be honest with you, Kim. And I got to be honest to the listeners, right? I'm about 50-50. I'm about 50-50 as far as taking care of myself. And I'm going to tell you why. I done spent thousands of dollars on all this workout equipment, right? All this stuff. I'm talking about everything that you can think of. I got. You say what?
I signed out. I was with you until you stepped on in my area. I'm like, ooh.
Right, but look, I spent all this money on all these, you know, this equipment so that I could be more serious and take myself serious as far as my health concerned. My health is concerned, because ultimately I understand that health as well, right, physical and mental, and I need to be here a little longer for my wife and my daughters, right. and I don't work out as much as I need to, right? I go hard for these long periods of time, and then I get to this point where I don't feel like it. And see, most times we go through things that we just don't feel like, but we got to push through it anyway, and this being one of them. So I can honestly admit that I ain't doing everything I'm supposed to be doing as far as taking care of myself, right? But I'm a work in progress, and as soon as we finish this, I'm gonna get about 30 minutes on the Peloton. I promise. And if I don't, tell everybody I didn't do it.
I will.
I'm gonna.
Not a problem. Hey, everybody! No, I was joking.
But I got to, man. I can't preach all this stuff, and I ain't really taking care of myself like that. But
Exactly.
on the other 50, though, as far as self-care, I have been eating better, right? Adding a whole lot of vegetables in my life. Stress-wise, I minimize that. I've been doing a lot of creating, which is therapeutic for me. Journaling is therapeutic for me. Goal setting, right? I got a lot of visions. I got a lot of missions that I'm on. I've been setting those goals. I've been standing on those targets. All while, yes, taking care of myself. How do I do that? A lot of times I center myself. I sit still. Lately, for probably the past 4 to 6 months, I barely watch TV. I'm barely on social media. I'll maybe listen to the radio, maybe if I'm in the car, if I just want to hear something. And the only thing that I got in rotation right now that I listen to is Killer Mike. And I'm not one of those bandwagon people. I've been listening to Killer Michael's album since he dropped it, since it came out, the day it came out. And I've probably been listening to it every week since then. And shout out to Killer Mike for winning those Grammys, brother, because you got something. It really resonates with me. But anyway, let me bag up. But that's part of my therapy, music and being creative. That's my self-care. You all listening, y'all got your own version of your self-care. Make sure that it's healthy, though. And take care of yourself. All the mothers out there, I know it's hard, but you definitely can afford to give yourself 1 hour a day. And Kim, I'm speaking to you too.
I'm with you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You can give yourself 1 hour a day to spend on doing absolutely whatever it is that you want to do. And if what you want to do is nothing, spend that time doing absolutely nothing, but make sure that you take care of yourself. But I don't want to sit here because, I've been talking my butt off. You know how I get when I get rolling. But, I mean, it's important information. It's important stuff. But, again, me being truthful about where I'm at as far as self-care, I'm 50-50 with it. I could do a lot better, right? So by the end of March, I'm going to be 75. I'm going to be 75, right? I got a few due dates coming up, right? It's a few deadlines coming up, and I got to hit those. But after March, I'm going to be 75 to 100. Because again, this is the first quarter. So, quarter 2 is like we got to do something a little different. So quarter 1, I was setting everything up. Quarter 2, now we're doing something a little different. And that's what we're going to start with, really taking the health serious so that I can, show up how I'm supposed to show up every day. So let's get into the mindfulness, Kim. Let's start talking about just what is mindfulness? What does self-care looks like to this anxiety, self-esteem and anxiety expert. I want to hear a lot of what, number one, let's before you start educating and informing me of what that look like, what are you doing for your own self-care? Talk to me about that.
I block self-care. You mentioned a lot of stuff that I was going to circle back around to, but I have to block self-care on my calendar. Meaning I will put my daughter's appointments down, my, family members' appointments down, clients. I'll put everybody on my schedule, but I found out that I was not putting myself on the schedule. So I will block my self-care, block that time. Also, ever since my daughter was younger, we would have a saying, bedtime is what? Mommy's time. So she would go early. My friend girls would laugh at me because she would be in the bed, depending on the age, at 7, then it was 7:30, and now it's 8:30. But those times, that's my time. That is my time to kind of just relax and debrief or zonk out, watch TV, scroll, and do absolutely nothing guilt-free. So absolutely, I train the people around me regarding my self-care. And then also I have to block it out off on my calendar, because then we're like, okay, I can't do it this day because this is my time. and be okay with that, and learn to be
Right.
okay with that. Mm-hmm.
I want to cut you off because you was on the road, but I didn't want to skip over. I train the people around me because that's important because, all listeners, training the people around you, what I get from that is boundaries. You have to have boundaries, right? You have self-care blocked off. That means that belongs to you, nobody else. But I had to kind of jump on that. You can keep going,
Right.
Kim, but keep
Right.
boundaries.
It is all connected. So mindfulness is basically, paying attention to your present moment without any judgment, or trying to change it. So it's kind of letting go of the control, stop judging how you feel, and just let it flow. So it's paying attention to your feelings, your surroundings, your environment, presently what's going on. And a lot of times we don't have that opportunity to do that. Society has us going on a hamster wheel constantly, right? Even when we sit down, we're still thinking what we have to do tomorrow, what we're going to cook tomorrow, getting the kids up, all of those things. We're thinking about our next task. And it brings us extreme anxiety because we're not allowing us that time to reset. Mindfulness is a reset and then paying attention in the present moment. Okay. How do I feel presently? It is okay to say, I'm feeling anxiety. Talk it out, speak it out. It is okay to feel anxiety and not try to change it, not try to judge yourself for feeling anxiety, but just sit with it and just allow yourself to see that. So it brings you to the present. Anxiety always thinks about the what ifs in the future. You're always thinking about what you still have to do and everything in the future. Past, that's kind of depression. Like, I wish I could go back and I didn't do this. And you're thinking about all of the moments behind you. But look at your gifts in your present moment. Look where you are in your present moment. And we have to set time to think about that, right? What do we have in our present moment? We have everything we need right now. We just have to train ourselves to utilize that. So with that also goes gratitude. Gratitude is so important because it allows us to be thankful. Again, we automatically operate from the mindset of lack, right? And a lot of people are capitalizing off of that. Healthcare systems are capitalizing off of that because we're never slowing down. We're always going. We reach a goal and we don't sit and celebrate that goal. We go on to the next because it's lack, right? I got to do this. But you know what? Let me sit and be grateful for what I do have. Everything that I do have. I may not have tomorrow, maybe another day, but right now I have all the tools that I need to get done. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. And it lifts your mood. So how I like to say gratitude is important is because you ever seen a plane and it's coming off the tarp and then all of a sudden it lifts up, that air comes underneath it and thrusts you in the air, right? That's what your gratitude does, or to some your praise. So you can be in a low mood because you're thinking out of lack, like, oh, I still got to do this. I don't have that. I need to do this. My car is out. But you know what? Dang, I woke up this morning. Thank you for waking me up this morning. I got my kids off on time today. Thank you for letting my kids off on time. Thank you for this house that I have or this apartment that I have. Thank you for just letting me operate in my purpose. God, I get to do what I love to do. And what that does is your mood is low. But as you start to realize that your present moment, right, and your gratitude, what you're thankful for presently, right, it lifts you out of that. So gratitude and mindfulness are very important because it gets you off of the hamster wheel of life, that anxiety moment, always wondering about the what ifs, and it calms you down. Think about your emotions presently and be okay with that. You're okay to think about that, right? And then it also lets you say, okay, wait a minute, what do I have around me? What can I do now? Your body will naturally problem solve for you. It would naturally do that. Right? So just give yourself time to sit with yourself. But a lot of times we don't want to sit in our feelings, which is journaling. Journaling is also, you mentioned journaling was good. Journaling is good because you can learn how to express yourself, not to the world, but to you. Sit with your feelings. There's different types of journaling. If you don't want to do dear journal, this is what's going on today, you can do bullet forms. You can do a video. If you do audio, it's just getting it out and sitting with your feelings, because once you learn how you're feeling and learn how to communicate with you and express your feelings with yourself, then you'll be able to communicate with someone else, right? So how I like to give some of my clients, I call it the emotional iceberg, right? Everybody pays attention to the action, right? Everybody pays attention to the outburst of the action. What is the situation? Write that situation at the top of your page, and then identify the emotions that felt. Well, that made me feel angry. That made me feel sad. But when you write that down, I felt sad because I was happy because, and identify all your emotions in that moment, and then go back and summarize. Well, you know what, Cody, when you asked me to join this challenge, I was excited. Because it gives me the opportunity to show up and practice what I love. Also it helps me with being accountable. So you see how I'm expressing that to you, because I have to sit with myself and think about my own feelings in the situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, when you start to practice mindfulness, and there's different tools of how to practice mindfulness, but when you start to practice mindfulness, you don't have to be in a rush to respond to people. Be okay with taking your time and checking in with yourself and being honest. Mindfulness will naturally pull out your true authentic self. Mindfulness will make you be aware and hold yourself accountable, like, that's not how you feel. And it may be a tug of war until you're like, you know what, you're right. No, I can't do that. I don't have the capacity for that. Right? So when you sit still and really think about yourself and your feelings in the present moment, then it will it will delete the rush to respond and be on everybody else's hamster wheel. And it also reduce the anxiety. And it'll give you self-compassion, and it'll allow you to be grateful for what you do have and what you have already attained. This is
That's.
important.
I'm sorry, I kind of cut you off and the mic went out.
You're good.
But that's those some real good tools, Kim. I definitely appreciate that. I wanted to, because we talk about different mindfulness practices, but I definitely want to talk about, in addition to talking about, mindfulness, it's the self-care and what that looks like. Because again, most people tell people what's good for them, right? In a general sense, but nobody's actually giving them bullet points of what that looks like and kind of how to take action, right? So we can't give them everything, right? We only have a short amount of time. However, it's like just different examples of what self-care looks like, because it can look like multiple different things. Like people can think self-care to some people may think I just need to go get a massage, right? Self-care to other people may mean I just need to pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does self-care actually look like? Like, what does it look like for the people that just want to know?
Think of it backwards. How do you care for yourself? And it could be the simplest things. It's going to look different for everybody, because everybody is, they're their own individual, right? For me, is I like taking showers and listening to music throughout the house. But you know what? Life happens, and before you know it, I haven't listened to music in a whole year in my house. What?
Wow.
So that means it goes back to setting up a ritual, right? To develop a habit, to get a goal, so that I can to put myself, to become my authentic self, basically, to give myself peace. So I have to go back and set the ritual. So every morning I got my little speaker in the bathroom, and I'm going to listen to music. As I'm growing, getting in my old wonderful wisdom age, I mean, listen to podcasts to help me think, to kind of get me to think in the morning, things like that. But guess what? That time has been blocked out so that I can do those things. And you also have to, when you start to figuring out, getting back to you, what is it that you love? What worked? Because sometimes we go get away from the things that was working for us, the things that we actually love, because we got caught up into the system of life. You're going to have to sit with yourself and figure out, dang, I love it when I used to do this. I loved it when I slept in on a Saturday. I love that when I actually got up and was walking, right? And then you're going to have to set a boundary. And the boundary is not for everybody around you. The boundary is for you, right? So for instance, Cody, you were talking about working out. So you set a goal like, okay, I got to get back to working out because that was my time and I felt good and it's going to help you become your, your best self, right? So if you decide, if your time is in the morning after you're not a morning person and someone calls you to talk about business, right? Well, you know what? Hey, bro, like, let me go ahead. Let me get off the phone. I got off the phone at 9 because I got to work out tomorrow. I got to get up early. Right? You have to set that because I know if I stay up late, we're gonna be talking in the morning, I'm going to be tired and I'm not gonna want to do it. But you set the boundary, and before you know it, you're teaching others, right, how to treat you. So they were like, hey Cody, I was gonna give you a call, bro, but I knew you was gonna be in bed early. So I hit you up today. You know what I mean? So you're like, yeah. But you set that for yourself. And you blocked it off your calendar. You set that and you put a boundary around that to protect that. But you have to do that. And even if you have, here's the thing, don't start major. Don't go big. Everybody wants to, all this grandiose stuff. No, what you're doing is you're wanting to build trust back up with yourself. Because we've all had in our heads, like, Cody, now, you don't have this equipment. You don't have this equipment for that 3 years now. And then now you telling these good old folks you gonna get on this Peloton, but you about to get busy doing something else. And before you know, you're like, yeah, dang, right. But you're not, you don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself to do it. So start small, start easy, start small. Start with one day. On Mondays, I'm going to get on the Peloton before I even get in the shower or whatever. And I'm going to get on this Peloton for 5 minutes. Guess what? You did it. You deposited trust back in yourself. Now, if you go on Tuesday, that's just extra credit. You did that, but you promised yourself Monday, right?
Right.
Also give yourself grace. If you don't get it on Monday, it's going to sit and tug. Get on it Tuesday. It's going to tug at your spirit. So get on it Tuesday, and I did it. So Monday come again, you're going to get up and do it. So start small because what you're doing is you're developing trust in yourself, right? But all of this starts with you sitting down with yourself and saying, how do I get back to me? Or right now, what do I miss? And your routine may be different. In the morning, it was like when I was younger, you couldn't pay me to get up early. What are you talking about? What? Right? Now, I'd rather get up early and start my day because no one is saying, hey, mommy, hey, babe, hey. It's my time. It's my quiet time. So now I can. So also, it's okay for you to change. It's okay for you, but you got to sit with yourself and observe your changes. Don't get down yourself, silence the critical voice and work with it. But you got to be mindful to say, okay, this is where I need to start. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you feeding the people today, Kim. Go ahead now. No, I like that. Now for sure. I like what you said, especially about not trying to go too big. Everybody that know me for real know that. I said it earlier. I go hard.
Yeah. And even in our friendships, I had to like, okay, Cody, come on. Let's start here. Yeah, but see the world. Hey, you do the rest of this. I'm like, okay, well, come on, breathe it down here. It's okay. And listen, accountability partners. Accountability partners as you grow through anxiety is key. It's key. Because
it's important, and I'm like what you just said, because it's definitely important to have people that's gonna hold you accountable. Because I mean, you could be great at a million things, man, but you can't accomplish but one of them at a time. So you can't do everything at once. It's steps. It's baby steps, right? And I still have to tell myself that every day because I'm great at a lot of things. And I just be wanting to do them all, but then trying to do them all cause me to not do nothing sometimes, right? And that's the lesson that I have to learn out of all of what I try to do. So It's the baby steps. You can have a big vision, right? The vision can be big, but what's realistic in terms of accomplishing and attaining and sustaining, right? Those things that you're going to do. So that big vision can be the vision, but what are the small steps that's going to help you get there? Because that's ultimately is what's going to ease your mind, lower your anxiety, because now you're not putting that much pressure on yourself. It's just like when we started, initially when I had a million people that I was trying to, like, this person, that person, you can't do it all at once, right? Let's focus on one thing, and then we're going to grow it from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we're building is amazing, but
Yeah.
it all can't happen at once.
Right.
And
I want
that's
to
the
go back.
reality of it.
I want to go back and say, when you were talking about, goals, and here's the thing. When you start small, we overlook the elementary things.
Yes.
We overlook. You already know what it is that you love and do. We just overlook and we forget about it, right? Pull it back out the closet. But there's a tool that I want to give those who are listening. Go back to writing your stuff down.
Yes.
The most powerful tool is writing it down. Write down the small steps, right? You have to see it. It's going to hold you accountable. So even if you put a reminder in your phone, Cody, if you was going to work out, put your name. All right, Cody, time to work out. Or when you, girls, if you're writing it on a red lipstick in the mirror or the sticky note or something, call it to your attention. Put your name on there. Because when you put your name, you're calling yourself to attention. This is you holding yourself accountable. Kim, my time is, journal time is at 8 p.m. Don't forget it, Kim. You got this, right? It's calling yourself to attention. Write things down, because as long as it's in your head, along with everybody else's schedule, along with everything else, it can get jumbled, it can get lost. But once you write it down, that is a level of accountability that you're holding yourself to. Also, take it a step further, write it down, put your name to call yourself to attention, but also put a date. Put your date, right? This is something, and it's going to irritate your spirit. It is. But every time you're walking by, your brain is telling you, okay, you need to get this done. So all of a sudden, you want to sit down on the couch, you want to scroll, but your brain is automatically going to tell you, you can scroll, but let me go ahead and open up this book, because I promised myself that I was going to read a book this month. So let me just go ahead and start that. Before you know it, you're training yourself because it sees it. Just like you see at McDonald's, Arch, advertisement vision is key, and they know that. So write it down, call it to attention. I don't care. Every day, you may not think you're paying attention, but you are. Put your name, put dates, be specific. That helps.
That's a very important point that you made, Kim. I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to talk about it, right? Because in so many ways, even with what we do with Adversity University, especially, the curriculums that I build, the courses that we have, I like to always have a workbook to go with it, right? And a lot of people always, oh man, you have something digital. Yeah, I can have it digital, but people need physical books, right? That's the problem with, like, today. Like, I'm not opposed to what's happening with social media, but we're too dependent on it, right? We're too dependent on everything being electronic, ebooks, this, you know what I'm saying? This, and that. And that's the way of the world. Is fine, but us as humans, we need to actively learn. We need to write these things down. We need to review them. We need to erase stuff. You know what I'm saying? Everything just, tablet worthy. You know what I'm saying? Everything in just for the tablet.
We have to be sure not to let social media take our power, or social stuff take our power, electronic take our power. Because here's the thing: there's beauty. There's a reason why we write stuff down. It's power in that. There's also, my dad said, if there's something that you want to go, you go visit it. So for college, he had me go and visit the dorm and touch the dorm, go into the classroom, touch the desk. And I was like, what is this? No, your brain it's been there. So that way it's easy for it to get back there, right? It never goes back to that same size. The car that you want, go touch it. Go touch it. You gotta physically go and touch certain things, write things down. Here's the thing, but we get so caught up in the life and the fast pace, we forget the elementary tools. We think that's old stuff, that's back. No, it works. You gotta physically touch stuff. You gotta write things down. So sometimes we let technology and society take our power, and we got to reclaim that. Some of those things work, and they still work today. So yeah.
No, they work for sure. I'm so glad you even brought that up when you saying just touch things. And you know what that's called? There's an actual term for that, clinical term for that. And you know what that term is? Systematic desensitization. And that helps with anxiety itself.
Mm-hmm.
Systematic desensitization. If you hearing this, write that down. Systematic desensitization, right? I'm not finna define it for you. Look it up yourself, right? But what it does is it allows you to be visual. For those of you that are visual, right? You can be visual. For example, I'll give you an exact example with me using this. Even with my licensure exam for me being a licensed therapist, right? We're going over these terms, and as I'm looking at this term while I'm studying, I'm realizing I'm nervous as hell to take this exam, right? Because you got a lot banking on it, right? So as I'm, familiarizing myself with this term, and I'm getting a definition of this term, I'm like, damn, it only makes sense. So guess what I do? The term basically said, basically with systemization, desensitization, basically what it does is if you have anxiety about anything, right? For example, I had anxiety about taking the exam. What I did was find out the location of this exam, right? I drove to the location of the exam. I parked in the parking lot. I sat and looked at the building for about 5 minutes, right? I got out my car. I walked into the exam. I found out the floor and the exact room that this office was on. I went into the what exam was being taken. I approached the receptionist and I said, listen, sweetie, I got to take an exam here tomorrow or whatever day it was, next week, whatever. I'm nervous, right? And I'm not the best test taker, right? I'm nervous when I'm in there. Do you mind if I were to enter into the room and just kind of visualize it just so I could, ease my anxiety? She allowed me to do that. Kim, wow. Next day or whenever it was when I came to take that exam, I was not nervous one bit. I mean, not at all. I never really finished an exam before the time was up. I had like 20 minutes left in the exam. And guess what? As soon as I walked out the exam, I got my letter that said pass with flying colors. Just because I eased my anxiety.
When I did that, my dad told me you need to drive to the parking lot. That's crazy. I was like, oh my God. I drove to the parking lot. I didn't go in, but I drove to the parking lot and I visualized myself going taking this test, passing it. That is amazing. I did that with vehicle, right? I was like, I want to go. I'm gonna just try it out. I'm driving. And I felt shame, like I shouldn't be up here. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna get this right now. I ain't ready for this type of car right now, And I drove it. And after I test drove that car, my mind, everything was like, okay, it was coming, like how I was gonna get it done and how I had to go touch it. But what I tell my clients is you have to get past your what ifs, right? The way to get past your what ifs is fact check. Go find the answers instead of you thinking about, well, what if this, what if that? Go find out. Let me see if I can get approved. Because if I can't, guess what? I now know how to walk through the steps of how to get ready for it instead of sitting in the what ifs and you're not moving, right?
Yeah.
That check your what ifs, but also the most powerful thing is just like you can what if in lack, you can also what if in abundance. So what if I can't get this car? What if I can? What would that look like? Ooh. What if I do pass this test? What will my next step be like? Right? So just like you what if in lack, learn how to what if in abundance. Manifest it. Let it come through.
Ooh, man, oh man. That's what I'm talking about, man. So like we understand like that. I know they're gonna get something out of that part because again, that systemization, desensitization, you got to desensitize yourself. Like most people are anxious. Like we are oftentimes like we have anxiety about a lot of things, and for the most part, it's the fear of the unknown. Yeah. Right. So if you are educated and you are well informed, then you can't fear something. Right? If you normally fear things that you don't know about, then that fear be removed if you're educated on that thing. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm nervous about an actual room or going to this location, I got to take an exam because it's the fear of the unknown. If I go, figure it out, touch it, feel it, see that, okay, it's cool, everything is good. I just got to return back to this location and do what I need to do. When you return, you're familiar. It's not the unknown anymore. You're exposed to it. And that's the thing. Like, if you think about jobs, careers, aspirations that people have, people are scared to aspire to be something huge, big, because they don't know about it. They're not informed about it. It's the education and the information will tell people, I can do this. That's what creates confidence. If you're not confident at all about something, it's because you was never exposed to it. Because one thing about us as people, we can do anything that we want to do. That's right. As long as we believe it, as long as we know that we can. So we have to continue to expose people. We have to continue to educate people, inform people, because once you know, if we know better, we do better. So we got to continue to learn, right? So that we can know better, so that we can do better, right? The more we know, the more that we can show the person that's coming behind us. We got to lift everybody up while we climb up. The problem is a lot of people just keep going. They just go about their business. They understand what a lot of people are suffering from, right? But they want to be the only person to look like they got all the answers as opposed to passing it down to somebody. Because if somebody just ignorant about something, meaning that they don't know something, and I have the information to give that person, why don't I let that person sit there not knowing? Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you what you need to know. Now, any actions that's required after that is on you. It ain't on me. I did my part. I gave you the information. I gave you the education. Right now, what are you going to do with it? That's why we need our kids, right? We need to talk to them like they're smart because they're very intelligent creatures. We gotta stop taking for granted that our kids are very, very smart. Our friends, right? We got to start educating and inform our friends. I don't care how much money your friend make. That don't mean they smart, right? You could be the brokest one in the room. If you got the knowledge, pass it to that person. A lot of people they be afraid to voice their opinions or their thoughts because somebody may be doing better than them financially, and they think because that person is doing better than them financially that they got more answers than them, which most times are not the case. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So it's confidence goes with information. That's it. Prime example, I'm a speaker, right? I'm always going to speak. I'm always on stages, right? Before I got to the point that I'm at now, and I just started because I just wanted to be a speaker, I go on stage just think I could just talk, right? Be nervous as hell before, during, and after, right? Because I was not prepared, because I didn't know what I know now. I didn't know then what I know now. Now, I'm fully prepared. I have my message. I know what I'm talking about, right? I'm prepared. I'm prepared before, during, and after. I know what my message is. I know what the outcome will be, right? Because I'm prepared for this thing. Recording these podcasts, recording these interviews, all this stuff is the lack of knowledge and the fear of the unknown that stop us from doing all the things that we want to do, right? And doing too much. But the information is so valuable and it's so important because that's what allows us to show up, right? For a long time. For a long time, Kim, I wouldn't speak in front of people. You know why? Because I didn't feel like I could articulate myself in a way that I needed to. Why? Because you hear everybody else, right? And you know where you come from. And you know how you speak. You know how you stumble on certain words. You know how you can't articulate certain words. And guess what? I got this far, being the person that I am, not being able to articulate everything, right? Stumbling on words, right? Being all that. I was always that person. And I got to this level being that person. So I can't judge myself off something that I fear, right? It's all about repetition, right? Mm-hmm. If I constantly, right, repeat what I'm doing, repeat affirmations to myself, say the things that I want to say, articulate my way in the way that I want to be received, it's going to be received by who it needs to be received from, right? It don't matter the people that's hearing me and say, man, this man, he said that word all wrong. he didn't pronounce that word right at all. That don't matter to me because I know what my message is coming from my heart, my soul, and this beautiful brain of mine that my mama gave me. I know that everything is genuine, right? I know that everything means something. Like I speak life into people. I want to heal people from my words. I want to heal people from what I live. I want to heal people from my experiences, right? Experience is the best teacher. And I've experienced a lot, right? Most people that's in my position ain't been through a quarter of what I've been through, right? Does that make me better than anybody? Mm-mm. What it does make me is well equipped to help my people. That's all that's important to me. So I don't care about my shortcomings. I don't care about my hardships. All of those things are meant for me to do exactly what I'm doing right now. So yeah, man. Listen, this is what we're here for, Kim. We got to educate the people. We got to inform the people. Anxiety is a real thing. It show up in men. It show up in women. Look, before I continue, I just want to put a shameless plug, right? Because we talk about anxiety. Always talk about depression and just the different activities and things that can be done. I want to plug. So I think in last November we did a personal growth challenge, right? That was extremely successful, right? And a lot of people got a lot out of it. So instead of what I decided to do was turn into a course, right? The personal growth challenge. It's 5-day personal growth challenge in which you can do things like mindful activities and journaling and all these. You just go through it. There's a workbook that you can download. There's 5 days. You can choose whatever 5 days that you want. Go through it. Download the workbook, work through the actual workbook. We was talking about active learning, right? Journaling, writing down things to actually remember. We was talking about all these things, right? There's your chance to go ahead and practice it in the space of, in the privacy of your home at the time that you so choose to, right? Knowledge is power and shared knowledge is more powerful. So what we decide to do is share that knowledge, right? Share that information. Take time, 5 days, go through the process, see how it works for you. Let me put the website. Hold on. Where's the website? Boom.
There you go.
Boom. It ain't showing. Boom. There you go. AU that's personalgrowth.com/5-day challenge. Again, there you just download the course. It's a 5-day challenge. Each day you have activities that you go through. Again, it's on you. Hold yourself accountable. Do the things that you need to do, right? And just do better and be better every single day. And watch how good you feel after these 5 days. I want you to commit to it, though. You have to commit. Like, don't do 1 day and skip a day. 5 days consecutively, because I said earlier, everybody, especially y'all parents out there, mothers, you owe yourself 1 hour a day. No excuses. You owe yourself 1 hour a day, so get that to yourself. AU-personalgrowth.com/5-day challenge. All right, Kim, let them know now. April 15th. April 15th. April 15th. April 15th. I'm gonna keep saying it. What's the date I just said, Kim? April 15th?
April 15th.
April 15th is when we actually launch. April 15th, we're gonna do the spring semester of the personal growth semester, in which Kim and I will be facilitating for those weeks. All right, it's gonna be 5 straight weeks of commitment of growing. Right, it's gonna be a very structured workbook. Come along with it. All these things, again, just to take your personal growth, right, and your mental health and emotional intelligence serious, right? So we're gonna give you actual tools. We're gonna give you actual skills. We're gonna work through. We're gonna facilitate live, right? Online. And it's gonna be dope, right? We're gonna give you the information that you need to be able to be successful now and in the future. We're not waiting. We don't have time, right? If you're around our age, you know that we got way more years behind us than we got in front of us. So we got to do right now, right? So that we can be sharp and pass that down. Say that again.
You speak for yourself on that one. I got future's bright. Got plenty.
Something wrong with Kim, y'all. Something wrong with Kim. I don't know what's wrong with Kim. Now, but now we definitely, again, this is what we do, man. We signed up for this and we here for the challenge. You know, just like I'm gonna challenge y'all to grow, right, personally and professionally. But it starts with personal, right? Adversity University is the generational blessing. All right. We talk about generational curses, but we don't need to speak about them no more because the generational blessing is here. You have people like me. You have people like Kim. You have people like my licensed therapist community and colleagues, right? You have these individuals that are here to help you grow personally, right? Help give you safe spaces where you can express yourself and not feel judged. You will not be judged. And I want to say this for the people that never experienced therapy, don't know anything about it, and their number one fear of going to therapy is, I don't want to tell a stranger my business. I'm scared they're going to tell everybody my business. Well, let me take that away from you. All right. As licensed therapists, we are bound by law to keep what we talk about confidential, unless you tell me that you're going to hurt yourself, kill yourself, or someone else. What's it say? Harm yourself or someone else. You don't say any of that to me. Everything you say is confidential. You don't have to worry about us going out and spreading your business. I don't care who you are. And another thing is, if you got friends that are therapists, or you do business with somebody that's a therapist, that person cannot be your therapist. So stop trying to, get your friend to be your therapist, right? Ethically, they can't do that. All right. So now that I got that out the way, y'all make sure y'all be on the lookout for April 15th so that you can sign up for this personal growth semester. It's a 5-day commitment, right? The spring semester go for 10 weeks. Session A is going for 5 weeks and session B is going for 5 weeks. So we're going to sign y'all up for session A for the spring semester that start April 15th. If you are interested in getting any information about the personal growth semester that's going to start April 15th, comment in the box. We'll make sure that we get comment AU in the box and growth. AU growth. How about that? Growth. GROWTH, right? AU growth. And just put that in the comment. We'll make sure we get that information to you. But again, we just want you to be great in everything that you do. But what I do know, the community is suffering, right? From a mental health and the emotional well-being standpoint, we're suffering. We're struggling. Me as a licensed therapist, I ain't got it all together. Kim, as a licensed therapist, she ain't got it all together. But one thing we do have is knowledge and information, and we can share that, and we can hold each other accountable so that we can have it all together. So I'm on a wrap. Kim, do you have anything that you want to talk to the people about, tell the people?
Listen, in order to grow through anxiety, you got to sit with yourself. You have to be mindful. Sit with yourself, acknowledge where you are in your present moment, right? And then ask yourself, how do I get what made me happy? What does self-care look like to me? It could be the smallest thing. And then setting a standard or blocking off your calendar and putting that on. Start small. Don't go, well, I'm going to eat healthy for a whole week. On Wednesday, we're going to do Veggie Wednesdays, and that's it. Just try it on Wednesday. If you got to go smaller than that, then, no fast food Wednesday, right? Or we're going to eat strictly vegetables for lunch and go to get a salad with no chicken on it. But make those promises, because what you're doing is you're building trust back in yourself slowly, right? But you got to sit with yourself and be mindful. After you become mindful, then you're going to realize like all the things that you have to be grateful for. Everything that you need today, you already have. You already at the table. You already at the table. All you got to do is look up. I'm Kim P. with Avocations Counseling and Consulting. Cody, you can take it.
Y'all already know it's your boy Cody. Motivation. And listen, be good or be great at it. Knowledge is power. Share knowledge is more powerful. Ultimately, we just want you to win. So again, be good or be great at it, and we'll see you on the other side.
With perseverance to meet adversity, then success is right around the corner. You just gotta be willing to keep going. This is Adversity University. What's your plan? You gonna keep your feet planted or you gonna keep your feet moving? And success is the next step. Now what you gonna do? Adversity.